Welcome, America. That's right. This is the Invent America show here on Invent America Radio. I'm your co-host, the Cajun contractor, Michael King. I want to welcome our audience from Home Talk USA. And I'd like to welcome the other side of the show, the inventor lady herself, Miss Rita Crompton. Miss Rita, welcome. How you doing, Miss Rita?
We're doing just running as fast as we can, getting ready for ASD Market Week coming up next week. So it's been, a lot of fun and got to know some new people, and they're excited to be there. Some of them have actually already made deals. Some of them are coming shopping for the deals, and others have just. We had one guy ordered 100,000 units of his product to sell.
Wow.
So it's like, whoa, he's expecting a good show. Yay.
That's right. I want to mention to our audience that next week we're going to be at the ASD Market Week from Las Vegas, Nevada, and but it's a once a year. It's a pretty much big show for you and your Invent America companies, right?
It is. It is. It's the biggest consumer product show in America, and the buyers know we're there. They come shopping for what's new. And next year we're going to do it a little bit differently with ASD. That they will then be the hosts of the innovation pavilion, so to speak, and I will go out and use it to, talk to inventors, inspire them, get them on the radio then after the show, that be able to promote their products for them. Look at licensing options for them. So a little bit different structure, so that I'm not, really doing all of the heavy lifting. Because for me, it was always kind of a pass through. They
Yeah.
pay me the money and I pay ASD the money, and now they're going to pay it directly to ASD, and so that takes some of the stress off of me, which is great.
Yeah, and it's not a profit thing for you, as
No,
and people need to realize that it's all about exposure. And ASD Market Week is a good trade show for exposure, and that's what you're trying to do. It's always the end result or the final leg of the I call it. It's not a sprint, a jog or cross country. It's the last leg of this, and at the end of the day, you did all the hard work, all the heavy lifting. You wrote your job plan out. You got a marketing plan. You got it patent, and and you got maybe the manufacturer lined up to produce it. So now, at the end of the day, though, you have to have the exposure so we can get that product on the shelves, right?
absolutely. And I've talked to so many people in the last few weeks that have told me it is not about social media. It is
No.
about face to face, shaking the hands, eye to eye contact. People want to touch it, feel it, and see how it works. And social media doesn't allow that. And
Yeah.
so it has made a huge difference. When we, in 2020, when we had the pandemic, virtual was all we had. And
Yeah.
the one thing the virtual taught us over and over again is it doesn't work.
Well, that's the biggest problem I have with the trade shows too. Is that once they put out the social media that I'm registered and we're going to be doing our show at a particular trade show, then I get bombarded with, we're going to be at the show. We like to schedule time for you to come to our booth. And I would always tell them that, look, I don't do that. What do you mean you don't do it? No, you have to understand. I'm literally got to come to the show and touch, feel, and hold the product because I'm not going to expose products I have no clue, even if it works. And the only way you can do that is what you just said: touch, feel, and hold. Right?
Yep, absolutely. And the cool thing is that we've got everything from a new baby pacifier that will teach babies that are prenatal how to suck because they don't
Yeah,
come out
yeah,
knowing that.
yeah,
So we've got everything from that to, how to save a life because you've got now a real-time reflecting rear view mirror, which
yeah.
is wonderful. And Russell, by the way, is going to be my next guest. But, then we've got a snow blower, a guy that's done a new
Yeah.
snowblower that automatically triggers when it starts to snow. How cool
Wow.
is that? And
Yeah.
oh, yeah, he's bringing fake snow with him so he can do demos in there. And so we've got just a huge variety of things that are going to be there. And so we can address everybody. And like Stephanie always says, she goes, people know what's old. They know what's out there, been there, done that. They want to see the new stuff. So they come to, the Invent America radio booth to see what's new.
Yeah, and that's a key point, and not only the exposures you get at these trade shows, but you get the interaction, which is more important than probably anything. Because I tell you, Reed, we've talked about this in the past. You're going to know right up front from these visitors to your booth, whether or not, because they're going to tell you the way it is. Well, what about this? What about that? What about this? No, no,
And
yeah.
I've had so many people say, "Well, that's not really the show for me." It's like, "Oh, baloney."
Well, yeah, yeah,
Baloney, because you know
yeah,
what? Last year when I was there, I met some guys that have all the rights to use all the logos to the NFL and the college teams. All
yeah,
right. So I got to introduce them then to another colleague. They're now in business together and setting up
yeah.
another company together so that they can do promotional products in places beyond just the NFL. Well, yay, hallelujah. And they're actually bringing on some of the products that would not necessarily have been NFL, but that you could put a brand on them or a logo on them and sell them all over America.
Well,
Yay.
A plus B now and then can add up to C. You know what I mean? So you
Yeah,
got A, you got B. You're missing C. And
yeah.
you
Every
know
once in a while, A and B can add it to C, D, and F too.
C, D, and F. Yeah. But I'm excited for you this time. I know you're excited. You always get excited to go out there and last year, you had the Invent America show radio program. People kind of, well, who is this show? It's new, blah blah blah. But now, you enter in the third year of this, and now it's kind of like, the anticipation that, hey, the Inventor Lady is going to be here with the Inventor Lady radio program. You know what I mean? It's just
Well, and the
either you
AS
talk for one, either you want to talk to one, or you can talk to 200,000. A
Right,
lot,
exactly,
you know what I mean?
exactly. And the ASD people have been wonderful in promoting us there and us promoting them on the radio. And
Yeah,
so we're going to continue to work with them. And
yeah,
then we will go and work at their shows. They want to put me on stage to,
yeah,
talk to folks and in the pavilion and to, encourage inventors. So, I've done podcasts with them that actually
yeah,
go onto the ASD site.
yeah,
And they've been really good to work with because they want to promote the inventors. They want to see what's new.
yeah. Well, I hope one day I can make it out there too and go out there with you. But I think I got it on my agenda eventually. A lot going on. But
Well,
let's talk about the show, though. Let's talk about the show that you have scheduled today.
well, the cool thing about the two inventors that are on today is that, they were thinking one way, and then all of a sudden somebody goes, yeah, but what about this? And
Yep.
so, with Russell, with TrueView, it was a different size. So he had gone out and actually had some manufactured, a short run. And all of a sudden they're saying, well, we want this size. And it's like, well, okay. And same thing with Nick's is, he goes out there and he's thinking one industry. And pretty soon people are saying, wait a minute, we want this, and it's a completely different industry. So we're
Yep.
looking at, surprises really. And I know that one of the ladies out there with Float No More, she was thinking hot tubs. But what she's found is the therapy.
Yep.
So the VA hospitals and all these hospitals say go soak in the hot tub for a while, and they use her product now to so that they can actually relax in the hot tub
Wow.
instead of just working to hold themselves into the hot tub. That's my problem. I always float to the top. Doesn't
Well,
work well to relax.
Well, I'll tell you, Rita, we got a great show, and we want our audience to stay with us. It's all about education, information, and if you have a product or technology, or even if you're just thinking about it, hey, call the show up. Send us a text or email, whatever. The information is sitting right there, and we'd like to try to help you before. Well, we could prevent you from. No, no, no. Let me back it up. Nobody can prevent anybody from making mistakes. It's going to happen, but we can limit them mistakes, right, Rita? You can limit them mistakes, right?
That's right. That's
All
right.
right. All right, we got to take a short break. All right, we're going to take a short break right here on the King's Broadcasting Network. You're listening to the Invent America show on Invent America Radio with the inventor lady herself, Miss Rita Crompton. I'm the Cajun contractor, Michael King, and this is the Invent America show. We're going to take a short break. We're going to be right back, pay some bills right here. Yahee! Y'all stay tuned now. We're going to be back now. You hear?